Hello everyone. I welcome you all to our United classes, and today we are going to learn about Class 12 PST NCERT Chapter 2, which is Principles of Management. And the topics to be discussed in this video are Taylor's Principle of Scientific Management, Principles of Scientific Management. And if you like our video, please like, share and subscribe our channel. And without wasting much time, let's start our lesson. The first is, what is principles of management? A managerial principle is a broad general guidelines for decision making and behavior. So basically, the managerial principles are a set of rules or guidelines which helps the manager in making decisions for the organization. They basically help in making decisions. Management principles are not as rigid as principles of science. So, the management principles are not as rigid or strict as principles of pure science because these principles can be modified or twisted according to the demand of the situation. We can change it, we can modify it if a situation arises in an organization which is not familiar. Then, they deal with human behavior and thus are to be applied creatively given the demand of the situation. So, just like I said, in an organization, we are dealing with humans from different sector and diversity. So we can't predict human behavior. So the management have to be applied according to the demand of the situation. If there is a conflict between two employees and the situation is not similar, then the principles of management can be modified according to that situation and applied creatively. Then principles should also be understood as being distinct from values. Values are something which are acceptable or desirable. They have moral connotation. So basically, principles are not as same as values. They are different. Like value are acceptable or desirable. It can depend on a person, but principles of management is permanent. These are principles. But while practicing principles of management, we can't ignore values because an organization have to fulfill some social and ethical responsibilities toward the society. So they have to practice management principles of management with keeping the values. Now we have Taylor's principles of scientific management. So before starting the principles of scientific management, here is a short note about Taylor, like who was Taylor and what the works he did. So basically this is a short note I prepared for you. You can just read it and I will just highlight the main points. Like he was an American mechanical engineer and he totally focused on how to improve the industrial efficiency. How can an organization work perfectly? Then he was also an apprentice of mechanist, learning factory conditions at grassroots level. Then he also introduced the term scientific management. So he introduced the term scientific management and he also published the book Principles of Management in 1911. After being fired from Bethlehem Steel Company, he wrote a book, Shop Floor. And after that, he was originally introduced the piece rate system. Basically, he is well known for his introduction of piece rate wage system. He introduced this system of wage. Then he died in 1915 due to pneumonia. So just read it once, that who is Taylor. So the first principles of scientific management is science, not rule of thumb. So basically this principle is about that scientific methods should be adopted to perform a particular activity in an organization. Like if there is a small production activity, there is a production activity like loading pigs of iron into boxcar. So the steps which are to be performed in that process, all activities should be scientifically planned and managed. This will result in tremendous saving of human energy. and as well as wastage of time and materials. So basically this principle is about that every activity in an organization, whether it's a production organization or different, every activity must be scientifically planned. That how must activity should be performed, how the process are to be done to avoid wastage of time and materials and human energy. Then second is harmony, not discord. Like after reading the point, you can guess like what it means, harmony, not discord. So basically the managers are for getting the work done by the workers. Management have to get the work done from the workers. And there may be any possibility that there may be any class conflict or dispute among the management and workers. So avoid these situations. There should be complete harmony between the management and the workers. They both should realize that they are important for each other. Everyone is important in the organization. To achieve this state, Taylor called for complete mental resolution on both the part of the management and the workers. They both should realize that one is important for another. Like management should share the gains of the company with the workers, and the worker at the same time should work hard for the company so that they can get the profit which the management is working, a share in the profit. So according to Taylor, scientific management has its foundation, the firm conviction that the true interest of the two are one and the same. So basically the interest of both the parties are same. They both are working to earn something. So they both should work in harmony to attain that objective. So third principle is cooperation, not individuals. Basically this principle is an extension of our previous principle, which is harmony, not discord. So basically there is competition in our organization. People work with some personal objectives. So according to this, that competition should be cooperation. Both the parties manage to cooperate with each other to realize what they need. According to Taylor, there should be an almost equal division of work. So basically, what Taylor said is that there should be equal between both workers and management. They both should work together. If the workers are working day and night, the managers also should work with them, encouraging them, motivating them side by side to realize the goal. Like helping the workers, encouraging them, smoothing the way of for them, helping them clearing their doubts, encouraging them. And so with cooperation, they can achieve each other's objectives. So we replace competition and cooperation. So the fourth principle is development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency and prosperity. So over and all, this principle is related to increasing the workers' efficiency. Like if management is hiring a person, they should also help that individual to increase his efficiency, to grow. It depends to a large extent on personal competency. So basically the organizational efficiency, the industrial efficiency also depends that on the personal competency. Like the employees which are hired in the organization, they contribute to the organization efficiency. Worker training was essential also to learn the best method. So workers should be trained to learn the best method so they can use it in the organization and help the organization in a better way. Develop and consequence of scientific approach. Taylor was of view that the concern of efficiency could be built in right from the process of employee selection. So he was in the view that persons should be selected scientifically from the start. They should be they should gone through a process of selection and should be selected scientifically so that the person should be best suitable. The person should be selected scientifically for contributing to the organization. Then the physical, mental, and social factors. So, and after selecting the worker, it should be based on his perfect position, like should be placed according to his physical, mental capabilities, like which speed post is suitable है, he should be placed on that to increase efficiency within the required training. And after placing that employee on his post, the management, the organization should train those employees from time to time to increase their efficiency. This will lead to increasing the efficiency of the organization. Now, the topic is techniques of scientific management. So, after Taylor introduced the principles of scientific management, according to those principles, we have techniques of scientific management. First technique is functional foremanship. So, functional foremanship. In the factory system, the foreman represents the managerial figures with whom the workers are in face-to-face contact. So, basically, in the functional foremanship, this function belongs to the managers, to which the workers are in face-to-face contact every day. Like the manager, every departmental manager, we should know HR, production, sales, marketing, and financial. These are departments. Every department have managers, and those managers then interact with the workers of their departments every day. So basically, the foreman represents the managerial figures, the managers, with whom the workers are in face-to-face contact on daily basis. And he's also who resolves the entire production planning implementation. So basically, the managers are present at the middle level. Like in the first chapter, we studied about the levels of management, and these managers come at middle level. So they are responsible for the production, planning, implementation, and control. So they are responsible for implementations of the plan, working of the organization. They take orders from the top management and implement those plans at the lower level. Then under planning in charge, there are two in charge in a functional foremanship, like planning in charge and production in charge. Under planning in charge, there are 4 personnel who work under a planning in charge. They are instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, and disciplinarian work. Under production in charge, there are personnel who would work with speed boss, gang boss, repair boss, and inspector. We will have a figure about. So this is a chart showing the demonstration of the functional foremanship. So first is factory manager. Factory manager is the CEO, chairman, etc. So under him, they have 2 in charge, which is one is planning in charge and second is production in charge. Like in planning in charge, we can instruct plans and do the costing, everything. And production in charge is he supervises all the production activities, all the process and activities related to the production. Then under the planning in charge, the first one is instruction card clerk. Instruction card clerk, I have written draft instruction to the workers. Like instruction card clerk जो रहता है वो सारे instructions workers को सारे instructions देता है, like how that particular plan have to be performed. So he instructs the workers. Then route clerk, second is route clerk. He specify the route of production. Like route clerk सारे प्रोडक्शन की जो प्रोसेस है, लाइक रूट है, किस तरीके से वो प्रोडक्शन होगा, ही स्पेसिफाई ईच स्टेप द रूट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. थर्ड इज टाइम कॉस्ट क्लर्क. टाइम एंड कॉस्ट क्लर्क, लाइक नाम के साथ आप देख सकते हैं, he performed activities which is related to the time and cost. He sees that the work is performed on time and with less cost, like the cost should be minimum and the activities should be performed in time. Then disciplinarian, maintain discipline, like नाम से ही पता लग रहा है कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम क्या होगा. लाइक ही मेंटेन डिसिप्लिन इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, लाइक किसी भी तरीके का कोई भी कन्फ्लिक्ट या डिस्प्यूट नहीं होना चाहिए एंड सारा प्रोसेस वर्क का सही से होना चाहिए, तो ही सी द डिसिप्लिन. देन अंडर प्रोडक्शन इन चार्ज वी हैव स्पीड बॉस. फर्स्ट इज स्पीड बॉस. सो व्हाट स्पीड बॉस डू? टाइमली एंड एक्यूरेटली कंप्लीशन. सो स्पीड बॉस की वर्क यही है कि जो वर्क है प्रोडक्शन का वो टाइमली एंड एक्यूरेटली हो, सही से बिल्कुल. देन सेकेंड इज गैंग बॉस. गैंग बॉस ही मशीन्स टूल्स रेडी. तो बेसिकली गैंग बॉस क्या करता है, जितने भी प्रोडक्शन में मशीन्स और टूल्स लग रहे हैं वो हर चीज को रेडी रखता है प्रोडक्शन के लिए. वो उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि मशीन्स एंड टूल्स रेडी रहें. देन थर्ड इज रिपेयर बॉस. रिपेयर बॉस की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है इंश्योर प्रॉपर वर्किंग कंडीशन. सो रिपेयर बॉस की यही रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि जो मशीन्स एंड जो भी सारे मशीन्स प्रोडक्शन में यूज होने वाले हैं उनका कंडीशन बिल्कुल सही हो, प्रॉपर वर्किंग कंडीशन में हो, ताकि किसी भी तरीके के एक्सीडेंट या किसी तरीके का लॉस ना हो कंपनी को प्रोडक्शन में. सो ही इंश्योर्स द वर्किंग कंडीशन ऑफ द मशीन्स. देन लास्ट इज फोर्थ इंस्पेक्टर. Basically, the work of an inspector is to check the quality of work. So, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में वर्क हो रहा है, काम हो रहा है, बस उस काम की क्वालिटी कैसी है, सही क्वालिटी में. लाइक वी ऑलवेज लिसन दिस कोड दैट क्वांटिटी डजंट मैटर, क्वालिटी मैटर. सो ही check the quality of the work, like the quality of work should be perfect and good. Then they all consist together and we can call them workmen. So these four under planning in charge and these four under production in charge, they all are under, they become workman. They are all workman. For the planning in charge and production in charge, for the managers, they are workman. So second technique is standardization and simplification of work. So what is standardization? Standardization refers to the process of setting standards for every business activity. So business में जितनी भी activities involved है, activities like process of production, raw materials, time, product, machinery, methods of working conditions. So basically standardization say that for everything there should be a standard. Like the process of standardization process, like the process should be performed in a standard way. Raw materials should be a standard quality. There should be a standard time to complete any activity or any work. The product should be a standard quality. Machinery should be in a standard condition. Methods of the working should be standard. We can take standards of the parameters against which we can analyze or measure the working condition of the current working condition of the organization. So basically standards of the measures or benchmarks against which we measure previous or current working conditions and set standards. Simplification aims at eliminating unnecessary diversity of. Basically, simplification is just to simplify every activity, and we should avoid unnecessary activities, diversity of products. Like if in an organization, if an organization producing shoes, for example, and if he started producing shoes of like size 4.5 or 6.5, then it will be very difficult. बहुत ही difficult हो जाएगा production अगर हम उस sizes का shoes और कोई चीज बनाने की कोशिश करें तो. So to avoid those activities, to avoid wastage of material, so we should always simplify the work so that we can save cost of labor, machines, tools, and everything. It implies, reduces inventories, full. It also helps in it helps in fuller utilization of the equipment and increase the turnover. So basically, simplification said that simplifying the work in the organization, simplifying the superfluous varieties like sizes, dimensions, avoid the avoid works which can't be performed or will be difficult for the organization. And so basically, simplification is just to simplify the work. So fourth technique is method study. So basically, the objective of method study is to find out the best way of doing the job. So the motive or objective of method study to find out the best way in which a job should be performed, the various methods of doing the job to determine the best way. There are several parameters, right from the procurement of raw materials till the final good. Like from the procurement, like raw materials के आने तक से उन raw material का final goods में convert होकर customer तक पहुंचने तक जितने भी प्रोसेस और एक्टिविटीज इन्वॉल्व है वो सारे पार्ट है मेथड स्टडी के. सो बेसिकली ये सारा प्रोसेस स्टडी किया जाता है एंड अकॉर्डिंगली इट हेल्प्स टू मिनिमाइज द कॉस्ट ऑफ द प्रोडक्शन एंड मैक्सिमाइज द क्वालिटी एंड सेटिस्फैक्शन ऑफ द कस्टमर. सो एक सारे प्रोसेस को अगर अच्छे से स्टडी करने से किस तरीके से कॉस्ट कम कर सकते हैं एंड क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट की बढ़ेगी एंड कस्टमर को किस तरीके से satisfy कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन. सो बेसिकली द होल ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ दिस स्टडी इज टू minimize the cost of production and maximize the quality and satisfaction of customer. Like for example, designing of a car, the assembly line of the production would entail deciding the sequence of the operation, place for the men, men कहाँ रहेंगे, then machines कैसे कहाँ रहेंगी, then raw materials कहाँ. तो ये सारे एक एक चीज assembly line में process रहती है, किस तरीके से कार के पार्ट्स जुड़ते जाते हैं. So there should be complete process, every method. So fourth is motion study. So motion study is basically the study which refers to the study of the movements, like movements of the body, like lifting, putting, objects, sitting, and changing positions, etc. These activities are related to the body movement, which is undertaken while doing a typical job. So the objective of this study is to find out like how the activities or the movements of the bodies, which is necessary, which is unnecessary. And so basically for example, a close examination of body motions. For example, it's possible to find out motions which are productive. We can find through this study, we can find the motions of the body which are productive, motions which are incidental, like going to stores. So कौन से motions productive है, कौन से incidental हैं, and motions which are unproductive, and also the motions which are unproductive, like ऐसे motions जो unproductive है, कोई फायदा नहीं है. Now fifth is time study. So time study is simple. It determines the standard time taken to perform a well-defined job. So basically time study is all about how much time should be taken to perform a well-defined job. एक job को करने में कितना time लगेगा, just उस particular time को standard time को measure करने के लिए. Time measuring devices are used for each element of that. तो हर task को time stopwatch के through use करके उस particular task का time measure करके that how much time should be taken, and that time is assigned as the standard time for everyone in the organization. The objective of time study is to determine the number of workers to be employed, to frame suitable incentives schemes, and determine labor costs. So basically time study is for determining the number of workers to be employed in, like for example, if observations, on the basis of several observations, बहुत सारे ऑब्जर्वेशन से पता लगा कि एक काम को करने में स्टैंडर्ड टाइम, एक बॉक्स लाइक एक वर्कर अगर एक कार्डबोर्ड बॉक्स बनाता है तो उसे लगता है 20 मिनट्स एक बॉक्स बनाने में. तो उस बेसिस पे ये पता लग सकता है कि 1 घंटे में एक वर्कर बनाएगा 3 बॉक्सेस. सो अकॉर्डिंगली अगर 8 घंटे का वर्क शिफ्ट है, 8 घंटे एक वर्कर को काम करना है, सो उसमें 1 घंटा अगर हम लंच और रेस्ट के लिए डिडक्ट कर देते हैं, तो जो 7 आवर्स हमारा वर्क शिफ्ट के लिए हो गया, तो उस 7 आवर्स में एक वर्कर बना सकता है 21 बॉक्सेस, 3 बॉक्सेस पर आवर। सो अकॉर्डिंगली ये जो टास्क हो गया उसका स्टैंडर्ड टास्क हो गया, एंड उसी बेसिस पे वर्कर का वेजेस भी डिवाइड कर सकते हैं। वी कैन डिवाइड द वेजेस according to the task. So this is the time study. Now 6th is fatigue study. So a person is bound to feel tired physically, mentally if she does not rest while working. So basically we are humans. If we work continuously, we can feel tired physically and mentally. So we should take some time to rest. So rest interval will help one to gain stamina and work again with the same capacity. So basically rest intervals will help individuals to gain their energy, stamina again, and then work with the same capacity. This will result in increased productivity. So, rest intervals will help in increasing the productivity. Fatigue study seeks to determine the amount of and frequency of rest interval in completing assets. So, basically, fatigue study is about कि कितना rest intervals देना है so that the worker can complete his task. Like for example, normally a plant, एक organization, एक plant में work takes place in 3 shifts. Work take place in 3 shifts, like for 8 hours. तो 3 shift का काम है 8 hours का. In a single shift, a worker has to be given some rest interval to take his lunch. So, उस interval, उस work shift में कुछ time worker को मिलना चाहिए for rest interval, so that he can work again with full capacity. So, the last principle, which is differential piecewise system, for which he was well known. Taylor wanted to differentiate between efficient and inefficient workers. So basically, Taylor wanted that he want to differentiate between efficient and inefficient worker, like worker who is working great and the worker who is working very badly. The workers can then be classified as efficient or inefficient on basis of these standards. तो जो standards है उन basis पे workers को अलग कर सकते हैं. Like he wanted to reward the efficient workers, so he introduced different rate wage system. So basically he wanted to reward the efficient workers जो अच्छे करे उनको reward करने के लिए, who is performing above the standard. So basically, for example, it is determined that standard output per worker per day is 10 units. Like एक organization में एक worker per day 10 unit बनाता है. So those who made a standard or more than the standard, जो workers standard 10 units बना रहे हैं या उससे ऊपर बना रहे हैं, उन्हें 50 rupees per unit मिलेगा. And those who below, मतलब 10 से जो नीचे बना रहे हैं उन्हें 40 per unit. Now, an efficient worker making 11 unit will get 550. तो एक वर्कर जो कि 11 यूनिट्स बना रहा है, मतलब कि स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट से ऊपर 11 यूनिट्स बना रहा है, उसे 550 करके मिलेगा हर यूनिट पर. एंड वर्कर हु इज मेकिंग 9, जो स्टैंडर्ड से नीचे बना रहा है 9 यूनिट्स, ही विल गेट 40. सो ये जो प्राइस का डिफरेंट होगा 190 का, ये डिफरेंस will be enough for the inefficient worker to get motivated. So this difference of price will motivate him to work harder. So the last is mental revolution. Mental revolution is just like harmony or discord or cooperation, not individualism. It's also saying that both the workers and the management should work towards the completion of the organization's objective. They should always perform in cooperation. They should towards one another like there shouldn't be competition and they should work in cooperation. So this is just the same point. You can just write like whatever you learn from those two topics, harmony, discord, cooperation, it's just the same. It's just the mental resolution on both the parties. So thanks for watching, and please like and share and subscribe our channel, and we will discuss the next topic, Pearl's Principles of Management, in our next video. Thank you so much.